Okay, girls and boys. Yeah, it's time to do another little tune-up. This is the red machine we redid the put the bass on and did that whole switch over. But it needs some gaskets. They've been in there since 2018, so we're going to go ahead and yeah, pop them on there. Yeah, everyone's done it, or there's a million of these tutorials. But we're going to have a lot of fun doing this, and we're just going to go ahead and do it. And hey, we need to. For you to get one of these pins, just go to the Etsy shop. We got all kinds of machines for sale and cups and a lot of pretty cool stuff. So let's go ahead and do this. And yeah, pretty simple. Pop off the group head. We'll get rid of we'll pull the little siphon tube out. And let's go ahead and get these little pins off, and preferably without stabbing myself. I'm not necessarily doing this the right way. Often I just go right in there and stab my hand, but got those off. And we'll go ahead and yeah, just pull the pins. You only really need to take the little clips off one side if you want. And also, you could just leave the handle with just the back ones also too, but it's easier to clean things without them. So we'll go ahead and pop the little acorn nut, the little two top nut and bolt off. There we go. Those are pretty easy to do, and then we're going to go ahead and pop that piston out of there. But first we're going to take the shower screen out. And that's been in there since 2018. It has one of these fancy shower screens. So let's see how that thing worked out. It's been in there a while. It's pretty jammed in, so let's see if I can gouge this thing. Just try to get a little foothold on it and see if it'll come out. Sometimes they pop out really easy and you can save them. But usually when I'm pulling these out, I'm putting a new gasket. I just really like them. But here we go. Let's pop this. Let's gouge in there. We're making a lot of coffees. We're doing the daily coffee because, some of these big coffee shows, those guys don't even make coffee at home. So they're just all overproduced with writers and all this stuff. But you know what? We do the real thing. And just like you do, we don't need all that. And yeah, there we go. Pull that thing out. Chuck that away. No reason to save it. And let's get that screen off. So there it goes. So let's see. This is one of those fancy ones. And, it's pretty dirty. A lot of coffee went in there. But the holes are still pretty clear. So I can't say it was bad or anything. It worked pretty good. And we'll just push that out. See, it's pretty easy once you get that in there and just work it out. And this baby's pretty dirty. It's been about 5 years in there running really good. It started dripping a little bit out of the top of the brew head. So I knew the gaskets were going, and let's go ahead and I'm doing this in the wrong direction, so don't do it like this. Right at the end, I switched to my better technique. But yeah, these are really kind of old and stiff, and this is often where I go ahead and stab my finger right there when you're doing this. But today I'm not going to do it. We're going to get that up. Let's get the old hook tool. This one I like too. There it is. Let's see if we get it going. I can do this a little away from my hand. See, that's a little better technique. Let's see if I can just gouge in and get a foothold on these. This one was kind of a stubborn one, but you get them off, and I like to show a stubborn one rather than an easy one. Or yeah, there it is. I got it going, and we'll just go ahead and pop that out. Excellent. And now we'll just do the other one. Pretty cool. And yeah, then we'll keep on going. So let's see if we can get this one out without injury, and then we'll go from there. All right. We're doing pretty good on these. No blood yet. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the top one off. Let's see if these have been a little bit stubborn, not bad. Let's see if we get a hook into this one. They're a little bit, whoa, there. That's the usual blood draw, but we avoided that. We might go double two, but let's see here if we can get, there we go. It just took a little wrenching and off it comes. So now we're ready. Pretty much close to just doing a little cleaning cup here, and we're just going to get that little clip out of the center. And I have my little handy dandy tool. It's probably not the best version of this tool, but it's not bad. It works pretty good. It comes with 3 sets of tips for different applications, but it's a little cumbersome. The little way it hooks together, you got to point it to the inside or it'll bump against the side and won't be able to get a good grip on that clip. And there we go. That one was easy. That was really good. Now we just have to get that little washer out. None of them were rusted and corroded in there. You know, those where you're wrenching. And yeah, there it is. The washer's out. Now we got our old trusty needle nose. That's probably my best little tool overall. And we will pull that little gasket out, and we're going to replace that too. And there we go. Voila. Yeah, look at all that. And throw that stuff away. I used to save a lot of it, but you don't need all those clips. They always give you a new one, and they're just going to be in a little thing forever, and then you're going to throw them in the trash. There we go. That's all out. Everything ready. Let's do a cleanup. So basically, I use citric acid. See if I can say that today. This one's getting a little bit out of date, so I may order a new one. They're like 15 bucks. I've had this thing for years, that bag. I've never used it up, but I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in there. Let's get that piston cleaned up, and we'll get the siphon tube cleaned up again. There's a little funny little spot on it, so we'll see what happens there. And then for everything else, there's a lot of products. They're all just about the same, whatever one you like. I use this one a lot, and it's worked really good for me over the years. So we soaked and cleaned these pretty good, not bad. Some people are more fastidious, I guess, but I got them as clean as I want them here. And the one thing I noticed on the siphon tube is there's a little spot, which is probably a crack, because you can see how the calcium really, even though I soaked it, the calcium really built up in there, which kind of sealed the crack too, because that's what they used to do with calcium in the original like clay pipes, is they'd feed lots of calcium in the water so that it would calcify and seal things. But anyway, so the other one isn't have, I have another old one, but the threads are a little bit short and janky, so let's see what else we're going to do. I have the I have one of the originals, and I have the fancy shower screen. I'm going to go back to the original, and then when we take this one off in the future, we'll see if there's a difference. Did that other one let more grounds and coffee go backwards? But we don't know. It probably doesn't really even matter, but that's what we're going to do. And they gave us a little lube there, not the Dow, but a pretty good one. And there's our gasket set. It's like a little bag of goodies. And we're not going to do the steam wand. God, I hate doing those things. But anyhow, here we go. That's our first step. Get a little bit of blue. Not a lot. I use just the tiniest bit on my fingertip because I don't want everything gooped up. But I like a nice thin layer on them so that they don't just go, they're just not too goopy. So just put a little on my finger. The first thing we'll do is the little shaft seal. Those are easy. We'll just get a nice thin layer, not too much. Like the guy said, less is more. Just get it pretty good, and then we're going to slide it in there as our first step. That's probably one of the easier things. Then just take your finger and push it in until it's set right and really in there the right way. All right, excellent. There we go. We got that in. And we'll get our little washer next. Little handy dandy one with the little holes. That's pretty easy too. That's going to go in. You can push that with your finger and get it in there good so the clip will go above it. And now we got to do the clip, which is probably the most challenging one. So we get our tool. Sometimes this tool works better. Anyway. Sometimes I get them right in the first try, but sometimes it's a little bit funny. But what I like to do is get a little downward slope so I can tuck that under the rim and then push the other side down and release. And if everything works right, it goes right in. But sometimes it doesn't want to do it. And then we'll just reset. There's probably better versions of this tool, but this is the one I have. I used a little needle nose for years, worked pretty good. So there we go, we're trying the same technique. Let's see if we can get it under that little rim. Now it kind of moved up, so let's get a little lower angle. We can try to just tuck in there, and yeah, we're not succeeding. So, but we'll give her one more try. It'll go in this time, I'm sure. Here we go. I don't know why sometimes these just pop right in like it's nothing, look tra la la. And other times they just have a little attitude. and I don't want to go right in, but let's see if we can get in this time. Tuck it under the rim, push down, and release, and popped right out. Okay, so we're going to go back to the needle nose. I used the needle nose for years, and I got this other tool because sometimes it was easier, especially if they're really old and rusted in there. But let's see what this does here with the needle nose. I've had a lot of good luck because you can kind of push down better, and it just went right in. So there you go. Whatever tool works is the right tool, no matter what anyone tells you. So we got a good seal in there. None of the clip or the washer is kind of blocking the little shaft seal gasket, if they're a little off center, but they're nice and centered. And now let's go ahead and get these gaskets. These can be the harder ones too. Whatever technique you find and use, just do it. So we're going to get a nice light, thin layer of lubricant on there. And let's see. I try to take my finger or thumb and push one bit so it's in there flat, because sometimes what happens is it wants to pop the wrong way, so it's kind of open coming out. So let's go ahead and do this. These are a little bit stiff, this set of gaskets, but I like these. Let's see if I can get it in there. Let's see if any of my techniques are going to work. So if you have a little bit of wrestling with these, it's just normal. Don't worry about it. Sometimes they go right on. We're going to reset here. And let's go again. Sometimes you just got to kind of set everything down and retry. Let's go. This one's pretty. Once you got it kind of going, you're going to be set. Okay, get that straightened out, Stevie. There we go. Just keep your thumb pushing down so that it stays right, and just keep it going around. It can be a little. So you got to wrestle them on there. Some people, I just see, I take my thumb and I push it flat so it's seated in there right and continue on around as I push it in. Sometimes it kind of flips near the end, but if you keep taking your thumbs and working it, you can work it in there so it sits right. There we go, we got that one in. Now let's do the top. I don't know which one's easier. One has this, I usually don't take the shaft out of the piston if it's really set in there good. I don't try to wrench it out. Some of them unscrew easy. Others are really set in there, so I figure, better part of valor, leave them in there. They haven't moved, so you're good. And let's get this one on. We're going to do the, make sure it's all lubed up good, and there we go. At least this way you can set the piston flat. It's a little bit easier. Then we'll just start working that around, kind of do the same thing. Just kind of pushing it so that it sits in there correctly, at least one part of it, and then just kind of work around. Usually the last bit flips in, but it's not set correctly, and you got to kind of work it with your thumbs and fingers, and you'll get it to move and set itself up correctly so that both flaps are pointing outward. Well, just to mention that in case you get them backwards or something, which is, you probably get them on and just go, oh shit, they're backwards anyhow. These came out good. I'm just kind of seating them in there good a few times, going around, making sure they're really in there nicely. And it looks good. Get a tiny bit of lubricant on the shaft. Not a lot, so it's all goopy. It sometimes picks up dirt. And so we're going to get a little, just a very light, and we're going to go ahead and feed it through now. Yeah, try to keep your hole lined up so you don't have to spin it. But you can spin it if you don't get it perfect. So there it goes in. And then you're going to have that top gasket and sometimes doesn't want to slip under the lip. You go, oh, it's not going in. So I use a variety of tools. A little flathead screwdriver can work. And what I want to do is just get that little lip tucked in. Just barely, not too much. You don't even have to do much. You just kind of tuck it in a few times and just go around. And if it won't move, you go to the other part of it. And slowly you'll get to a point it'll slide right in. On occasion, they just go right in too. Everyone's a little different. So if yours goes right in like it happens to be sometimes, it's really, really good. There we go, almost. Let's go around a little more. Couple little spots. You can see it in there where it's kind of hung up on the lip. You just tuck it in. Just push it very lightly in. You don't have to get too brutal. And at one point, it'll go, and there you are. So it's not that isn't a hard thing to do. And if your hole's not perfectly straight, you just get anything in there you have handy and kind of straighten it out a little bit. Hopefully it's not too much where it's going to unscrew the shaft. But anyway, there we go. So that's looking good. Now we're going to use a shower screen. We're going to, just a tiny bit of lubricant on that. Not a lot. I don't want to goop anything out. Just a super thin layer. And we're going to go with the original classic shower screen this time, just for fun. I could put the other one too, but we'll put this one on, and that fits in good. And then it's not really a trick. The thing you have to do is get that washer tucked in there. So at first I tuck it. I use this hook tool, but I don't use the hook end. I use the rounded side, which is just right, and I just go around and push it in. You might not get it all the way, but you'll get it really close. And so if you just kind of go around, you can see it. You just tuck it in. Of course, not the pointy side. You want the rounded side, or whatever thing you can find that does it good. You just kind of work that around and get it tucked in. It's really zen to do, kind of, because you're almost there going, all right, I got the hardest part done, and we're tucking that in, so it's going to look pretty good. And then later we'll go ahead and seal it in even better. A little inspection. So we got that little one. This is one you can forget sometimes, like the siphon tube. It's easy to forget and have it all done and go, wait. All right, just a tiny bit, just like usual, just a little lubricant. And that'll kind of hold that in too, because they do pop out sometimes, and we'll pop the handle back on. I cleaned it up a little bit in the pins too, and I'm going to look back at the other machines, make sure I have it on correctly, not backwards, or sometimes you have the holes at the wrong level. That's easy enough to do. And some people like to put this in the front one and then the back, but I like to do the back one because then you have a little play first to get the front one in there. So we'll do out our little ceramic dealy. There we go. And now we're going to get our pin through. I left one of the clips on the other side. I didn't need to take it all the way off, just one side. So we'll line those holes up, and then we'll just work that pin in. There we go. Now we're going to do the other one. Just a tiny bit of lubrication, get it to slide. We'll get that one lined up. Yeah, it doesn't want to go a little bit. You see how it kind of stops, it won't go all the way. And I think it's because the shaft needs to get turned just a tiny bit, a minute amount. Let's try the other side just to see if it's why it's being stubborn, but that's usually it. There we go. So what we're going to do is just that. This is a tiny bit off. That's why it's a little, we'll just move that piston shaft a minute amount, and there we go. Let's see if it'll go in now. Yeah, there we go. Popped right through. That can be off just a tiny bit and kind of create some binding. So just mess around with it, you'll get that in. I've only a couple times had to pop those with a little mallet to get them to go through, but that's probably because I didn't have the shaft straight enough. All right, now we got those little clips. Here's where my little needle nose coming good. I just kind of place them on there and then get the needle nose one side on the clip, one side on the pin, and just squeeze them shut. Sometimes those slip on too. You can just put them on with your finger. Same thing, but these are older ones I cleaned up. I'm using the original, so let's put that on. We'll get it just tucked on there. Get the handy needle nose, and we'll just put one on the pin again and one on the outside of the clip, and just squeeze them together. It'll pop it right on there. There we go. There we are. Okay. We're almost there. Yeah, there we go. It's working and everything. So, okay. All right. Yeah, we need the little nuts on top, so we'll just tighten those down. I know people think you got to adjust these and all that, but I just can't see it because everything's set. There's no real adjustment. All you could really do is make it go further, but I don't think you really need to. I think they've kind of pre-aligned these. It's not really meant to be adjusted. Just tighten them up, snug them together, and we're going to be set. That's a pretty easy one. Work that in a few times. It's nice to, make that, especially when you first get on the machine, work it a little bit now. I think we're going to use the original. I'm going to order 2 more of these, so I have one for this machine and a backup, because let me just try to see if I feel air coming out of there. And the other one's still pretty good, but the threads are a little bit funny, so I think I'm just going to use this original one for now. I don't feel any air coming out of that, even though there is a little calcium line that didn't want to come off. It's really in. But then I didn't want it to either. I want it to stay sealed, so there's always an extra part you might need. That's the way it goes. But we'll order a couple more of these. There we are. That one went in, lined up really well. And sometimes neglect, they give it to you, so I'm going to put it on. This gasket is relatively new because I did change it not too long ago. But yeah, I said but again. Anyway. Okay, that's off, and we'll go ahead and put a new one on. Why not? They gave it to you. Yeah, you can just collect them up, but why not put a new gasket there? Sometimes a little ceramic seal that's above that kind of crumbles on some of these older ones too. But let's see, now we're going to just feed that in. Not too tricky. And then our little screws, number 10. You know what your wrenches are, 10 and 13, and I think 16 and whatever. There we go. Just hand tighten them first, get it snug, get it kind of set up. Excellent. Tighten them up. There's the other one in. It's over on my cart now. And there we go. We'll tighten that up. Give a nice snug. Now, you don't have to wrench them down like a maniac. Just firm, but not brutal. And yeah, there we go. It's on. Heat it up. And let's go ahead and pull a little shot. And let's see how it works. We're using an old school basket with the double spout, just to be that way. And we got a little cup here. We're just going to do a shot. We didn't steam milk or anything yet, but let's go ahead and pull it up. Goes pretty smooth. I didn't really think a lot about this shot because the first shot after I do gaskets, I like to just throw away. You might have a little bit of lubricant or something in there, but it's just, kind of for good luck and for cleaning and everything. You might have a little residue, so go ahead and just get rid of this one is what I do. It might taste okay, but you may think, well, but anyhow, it's good luck anyhow. But yeah, it's working good. The pressure's nice. There we go. Just what you want to see. Success in it working. We didn't need to wait for a siphon tube and something like that. And there we are. So we're going to take this one off. Yeah, looks good though. And we're going to dump it out for good luck. Okay, we're back up. We got a real one here. I've steamed some milk already. So let's go ahead and do our success. And she's all heated back up. And up she goes. Dripping nicely. I don't always worry either if it's both spouts evenly or not. However it goes is fine with me. And I've just done a bunch of stuff about it. Always doing the handle side, but then all of mine started coming out the other side. But anyhow, things are funny in life. There we go. God, that's really another successful one. Go ahead and subscribe. We do a lot of, we do a lot of Pavoni stuff, but we do a lot of other fun stuff with dinner and everything. And yeah, there we go. Click on the shop, and we're trying to get an RV, so buy one of those pins. Thanks a lot.